Okay, I have two people that have asked to speak tonight on a non-agenda item. First, Melissa Gutierrez. We ask that you hold your comments to 5 minutes, please.
Good evening, school board members, administrators, and community members. My name is Melissa Gutierrez, and I'm the lead pre-K teacher and have taught pre-K for the past 13 years. I respectfully come here today to discuss the importance of using comprehensive multi-year data for informed decision-making, particularly concerning teacher placement. Additionally, I would like to propose the implementation of a tuition-based pre-K program. Decisions based solely on current year data can be short-sighted and may not accurately reflect trends and patterns. By incorporating data for multiple years, we can make more informed and strategic decisions that consider long-term impacts and ensure stability in our education programs. The data from our prior years shows that as a grade level, last year we had 91 students enrolled, 81 total students in the 21-22 school year, and 73 total students in the 20-21 school year. That was the year following the COVID pandemic, and parents throughout the grade levels were struggling with sending their children to school and opting for virtual learning. I was also the virtual teacher for pre-K and had a full class of online learners, and then in the spring had online and in-person learners. During the 21-22 school year, there were so many enrolled pre-K students that a waiver was approved for some pre-Kers to be taught in the Head Start classroom as well. Research shows that early childhood education is critical for cognitive and social development, and by offering a tuition-based pre-K program, we can ensure that more students in our community can receive a strong educational foundation. In conclusion, I urge the board to consider the adoption of a multi-year data analysis for decision-making and explore the benefits of a tuition-based pre-K program. Thank you for your time and consideration. In your folders, so we're the ones who pass out the manila folders, we have two of Ms. Carroll's class photos. So this year she is at a smaller number, but with 5 students. But her year prior, she had 18, and then the year before that it was 14. So this year was kind of crazy, and then they also combined classrooms in early fall. So keeping her at 5 worked out since they ended up using her classroom as one of the 3-year-old classrooms. And she could not go above 5 due to Head Start regulations having to keep that total classroom at 20 kids. The next page, it includes information on pre-kindergarten eligibility, which I believe is new or just something that we may not have seen before, just opening it up to more military members. And it has the TEA educational code referencing tuition supported pre-K. Then I made an informational packet on what a tuition-based pre-K program could look like in Devine, just sampling from different programs around the area who have successfully already implemented their program in their school. And then off of the TEA website, I took the proposed tuition rate letter and put in our information and just included like a sample of what that would look like, and it just has what our rate would be and all that kind of information, and it would just be sent off to the correct person. But that's my bit. Thank you.
I believe Ms. Christy Beanie wants to also speak on that subject.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Christy Bean, and I think most of you know me. So I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for serving another year. I know that you volunteer your time, your energy, and you probably don't get a lot of thanks. You probably get a lot of phone calls that are negative. So I just want to extend a thank you, a sincere thank you for all that you do for our kids, our community. With that, so today I was getting ready to prepare some notes to speak to you, and I was taking some me time getting my hair done, and I had a parent come up to me, and she was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, all in my phone trying to write some notes. And anyway, I told her that I was coming to speak to y'all about the importance of our program. So she said, "Would you please tell them about my child?" And I said, "Oh, I can't do that." I said, "But if you want to write a letter, I will be more than happy to share it." So I'm just going to read her letter because I could not do as good a job as she did in expressing the impact that we make on children of that age. So, and when I read it, I cried, so I'm going to get through it without crying. "I want to express my deep gratitude for the Head Start program and its tremendous impact on my child, Zadie Vale. Zadie, who qualified through ECI, which is Early Childhood Intervention, and began speech therapy at 18 months old, was later found to be half deaf, a condition unnoticed by doctors and daycares. It was the careful observations and assessments by her Head Start teacher that brought her developmental delays to our attention. This led us to consult a specialist, revealing that Zadie had been hearing as if she was underwater for 4 years. Following surgery to correct her hearing, Zadie joined my class, where she showed improvement but still faced some challenges, as she had only been able to hear for about a year. Now, under the guidance of Emily Sadler, in a general education kinder class, she has made tremendous strides and will be going straight to first grade prepared and ready. Without the Devine Pre-K and Head Start program, Zadie's educational progress would have been uncertain. We are incredibly grateful for the professional support we've received. Downsizing this essential program could mean many children's needs go unmet. The Head Start program is vital for identifying and addressing such critical issues early on. Sincerely, Leslie Vale." Thank you for your time.
You probably know anything that's not on the agenda we cannot comment on or vote on tonight. So
No, I totally understand. I just wanted you to hear it.
Well, we appreciate
so
the
you can hear it and you
information.
can lock it away, and when you do come across this, just remember, because this is not the only letter.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on in the agenda, we have some teacher recognition tonight. I'm calling on Miss Mandy Cross.
So we had some of our teachers do something pretty cool recently. They've been competing over the last 10 weeks in a program called Splash Learn, and it's a math challenge that all types of students from all over the United States compete in. Again, like I said, it took over 10 weeks. Very engaging, interactive lessons that these kids go through, and it also goes into individualized learning. So it'll find exactly what that kiddo needs to work on, and it will focus their questions on them. So we actually had 4 teachers from our campus compete in Splash Learn this spring, but we had 3 that were in the top 10 of all of Texas. And we'll get a little bit bigger into that in a bit over the United States. But I have 2 of them here with us tonight. So I would like to, first of all, call up Shelby Spivey and read a little bit about Shelby's class real quick. Shelby's class was, again, she finished 6th out of the entire state of Texas, out of 11,512 classes that were competing, and her kiddos completed 33,142 additional math problems besides what they do every day during those 10 weeks. So, Shelby Spot. And we also have Lauren Garrison. She's a kindergarten teacher. She could not be here tonight, but their class got 3rd place out of all of Texas, and those kindergartners completed an additional 89,355 math problems. And then Brittany Briscoe. So Brittany's class, actually, they were number 1 in all of the state of Texas in Splash. And if there one person that I know that might be more competitive than me, it might be Brittany. We're very close. It's very close. But as we talked the last couple of weeks, she said, my kids are in it to win it. Like, we're not losers. We're going to do this. We're going to win. And so they were determined. They got it done. They finished 92,892 problems, almost 93,000. And on top of being number one in all of Texas, they were 14th out of the entire United States of all the students that competed in Splash Learn. So, Brittany Briscoe. All right. Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all for giving us the opportunity to honor these ladies tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, ladies. We're very proud of you. And I know they were voted on. Okay, next we move into a public hearing on accelerated instruction program. Mr. Juan Gonzalez.
Well, this time we'll have information for that stored in our community
Oh, okay.
that I will utilize for that. So
Okay.
we get the scores and Wednesday.
All right, well, thank you. We can hear it next month, I guess. Okay, now we move into our administrative reports. We call on Dr. Franchine first.
All right, superintendent report, board priority 1. As you know, we still are waiting on the 2023 A through F accountability ratings. The manual is out, but it seems that the lawsuit is going to take on the 2024 ratings as well. School districts that are participating in that lawsuit are now trying to absorb those. So we may not get ratings for this year either, which we're a little sad. Right? Teacher incentive allotment plan is in the oven, sent off. We're waiting for a reply from Texas Tech. We hope to get that soon. They say 2 to 3 weeks.
31st.
Okay.
By the 31st.
So we're extremely excited about that. Probably have some feedback on the plan. If it comes back with acceptance, then we move into next school year, which will be our data collection year for our teachers at the high school. At the same time, we will begin writing the program to amend the current TIA initiative and bring all 3 other campuses into the plan. Let's see. Lions Club was April 25th, Student of the Month. We had our coordinated lockdown procedure with our local law enforcement agencies. It included, we had at least six state troopers here, a big presence from Medina County Sheriff's Department, and most of the officers, except for one for Devine PD that were on duty, were here with us. As normal, we break out after it's over with, go back to central office, and then go through a pretty intensive debriefing. Chris Champion has taken the lead for Medina County Sheriff's Department. It used to be Donnie Whitaker, so Chris had some things to say. The troopers mentioned some things that they have available to us that we didn't realize at the time. That it's going to be some trainings that we'll be able to implement at the beginning of the year. And as always, Devine PD is always over our shoulder, help us whenever we need. We have a Board of Trustees Facility Committee meeting tomorrow night, this coming week. Found out I couldn't be in Miss Darnell's middle school scramble because of sad for that. But all of our schematic design planning is going to be able to be presented to that facilities committee, and they can express interest, tell us, hey, this is a project that we would like to move forward with. This is something we want to cut off. Here's where we're at. What we ended up doing was taking the project list from the $32 million bond and shrinking it down and moving into a frame to where at least we could get prices, a good project explanation to present to that committee, because without costs, can't say, hey, we have a really good feeling at this point that we will be able to complete everything that we have in that list, be able to show them. Like I said, you never want to get caught in a situation where you reach out to the public and they're expecting something from us and then we can't deliver. Safety and security wise, we have fulfilled most of the vacancies. Elementary and high school still have some spots that we need to fill. I think we have 2 at the middle school. I'll give you that personnel report a little bit later. All of our teacher recommendations have been through you. Contracts have been placed. APs and principals have been documenting their drill schedules. We've got to put those into PEAMS. Ms. Schneider had a family obligation, but as soon as we finish up with our drill schedules, we put those in PEAMS so we can account for those. Our safety and security spring meeting was Wednesday, April 24th at 9:15. Some of you may have been in that meeting. Got to talk about the new safety and security cycle 2 grant that we're putting together. That's due May the 28th. We received some information from our contractor and our architect in terms of the vestibules, because that is one of the allowable costs. So that may give us some relief possibly on our bond funds, although we did hear some information that was a little bit unexpected. We were thinking that it was similar to the last Safe Cycle grant that we had, that we were able to secure $1.1 million. We were thinking it would be similar to that, but somebody that might be in the know said that this one is capped at $150,000. So there's not much you can buy for $150,000, but that could be inaccurate. We're trying to research that. Now we have 2 emails into reach at 20. Anything else that you may have questions on? Other than that, I think that's what I got.
Anybody have any questions for me now?
So for the bond project update, a little bit of the same of what you've heard. Big move in terms of getting things nailed down will be tomorrow night. That's our board facilities committee meeting. Also, the pricing, once that meeting is finished, they'll be able to narrow down some more pricing and maybe make some final touches. Then the board committee will be able to tell us if there's some projects that we think that we can get knocked out, which there are some that are on the list that we want to have reviewed. We'll probably be finished in the summer, or at least we hope that we can get knocked out this summer. So that's one of the things that we want to be able to show. Right now, everything seems to be the architect feedback that we have gotten. I think we're a little bit ahead based on what our third-party representative has said. Casey was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that we're moving at this point." So we're kind of excited about that. Although, yeah, that's what everybody says. Man, this is slow. And then people that really do it, they're like, "Man, we're ahead." So try to keep everybody informed and let you know where we're at. But anytime that the board has questions on anything that's going on, just reach out and let me know. We try to keep a Google Doc that we share information through, and we use a system with Sledge Engineering called Basecamp. So anytime that we have a meeting or documents are moved around, they put those into place and keeps track of everything. It'll be more important for them once transactions and things start happening between our architect and our construction manager, because then they will review all of the invoices, submit to the board. Nothing gets paid without y'all's approval, but we will get him to stamp through those and kind of just keeps track, keeps things in order. Yes. Next, as you see before you, through several years, I know for sure for 3 years that we've been talking through changes in our standardized dress. We've kind of moved away from that standardized dress policy, and now we're looking at a dress code that is what some people will consider common sense dress code. I don't know if that's a true word, because sometimes when you get into these situations, common sense is far from it. But as you see, we were able to give each of the campuses a copy of this dress code, and they were able to make comments. So some of the things that concern each campus are on the side in the comments section. So if there's any questions that you guys have, obviously this is not board approved, this is board reviewed, but if it gets to the point where you're ever gonna have a level 3 grievance over a dress code issue, it's gonna land in your lap. So that's why we try to keep it as informed as possible.
If we have questions, who's going to answer?
If you would like to add, I have our principals here. They have spoken to me in terms of their opinions, but if you would rather hear it straight from the horse's mouth, or even
So is our goal that the same exact policy would apply to every campus? Without-
we have talked about that, it is, but elementary is gonna probably have to have a little bit of change in that. We talked about every campus being the same, but the little ones, the short length kind of gets, I mean, I know that that's.
Well, I wondered about even the shoes, you know.
One of the things that, and you may call him out on it, but intermediate, you know, sometimes the shoe gets to be an issue because that's the same shoe that they wear to PE, and you talk about no movements and that type of stuff. Is that what you were going to ask specifically?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there was wiggle room to have them have some specificity to their campus in regards, because that does make sense, that you don't want them, the teacher having to help them switch from boots to tennis shoes to go
Yeah, I
to
remember
PE.
my little one would have to carry tennis shoes in her bag when she would go to school every day. If she was going to wear boots, and then it just got to be a good point. It's easier. You want to talk about shoes, Mr. Gomez? Is that?
I think the comments in there,
Okay.
you just pretty much, we have a shoe policy in our current dress code, and that's kind of the one that we would suggest. It just basically says that no boots and the shoes, you know, would have to be universal to every classroom or anything else at the intermediate school, just so they don't dress out or anything like that. So,
Is that something they're already going to be used to anyway?
yes.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
Oh, good one, keep
I
going.
have one exception that I want to mention, where they mentioned the shorts and skirts going to 5 inches above the knee instead of 3. I feel like that might be a little short for people that are short. If you take a short person and go 5 inches above the knee, that makes it pretty short. For somebody that's tall, it's probably appropriate, but because when you consider the front of the dress, it's not the same in the back of the dress. Usually there's a little more that causes it to be a little shorter.
And for clarification, she's talking about where your pants start. The current policy reads, or the proposed dress code reads, no shorter than 5 inches above the knee. So we would be moving to a longer short.
No, it's 3 inches above the knee.
But the one that we're talking about says that you want to move, the one that here says 5 inches from the top of the knee. And you guys are wanting to make them longer. Yes, I don't, based on
Is
conversation.
it 3 inches now?
3 inches
Yeah.
now.
3 inches.
And based on conversation with principals, I don't think anybody has any argument with that.
Do y'all want to speak up? I mean, you're the one that's going to be patrolling it.
Whatever happened to when we were, I don't know if this is not a good measurement, but to account for the tall or short, it used to be so many inches past your own fingertips. You know what I mean?
You can kind of fake them out with that.
Huh?
You can kind of fake them out.
Well, I'm sure you can, but it accounts for the tall and short argument, you know?
Depends on how they dip their shoulders.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you let them dip their shoulders.
I know, actually, I was thinking more, well, my problem is this, if we're gonna look at holes that are 2 inches above the knee and say something about the hole, and we're doing 5 inches for shorts, that doesn't make sense.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Because if you already have holes and you're allowed for shorts, I mean, right there about the hole down there, it just, they contradict each other in that part,
Yeah.
so.
And for the high school, I'm for the 3 inches. So make a lot easier, because it's not just the girls, the guys are going to start wearing shorts like that. And you already see them out in public. You know, again, I reference all the time about being in large districts and just seeing the disaster that has occurred there when they abandoned dress codes and standardized dress. Very proud of the way our children dress at school. I think they do so appropriately. It's a little sharp in today's terms. So for me, with the 3 inches, and then when it comes to the holes in the jeans, I'll just wear tights. Doesn't matter where the hole is, whether it's below or above. I don't want to have to try to regulate where the knee starts.
Yeah.
There's a hole on the top, you know, I don't want to regulate it. So just, you got holes in your jeans, you got to have tights, period.
And I agree with Mr. Gonzalez on that, because when we started talking about it, even though there's a 2-inch hole, we started trying to regulate that. It's kind of like, forget it, I give up, because guess what? They got these huge holes in the pants all over the place, and it just, okay, wear tights. If you wanted holes, you got holes, now you wear the tights. And that's kind of my way of thinking on that. And maybe not so much elementary, but we start talking middle school and high school, and there's other things. I don't want to have to sit there and the dress code issue becomes something more when some little boy says something, because they will, that's middle school. They're going to be, come up with some snarky remark, and then I'm no longer dealing with the dress code issue, I'm dealing with a whole different issue. I'd rather not.
No, were the shorts also, is it multicolored short or solid colors?
So many, well, for one, a comment,
They
our
say a lot of multicolored.
high school and middle school, I actually had a chance to visit with them about it. Not intermediate and elementary so much. Actually, we haven't talked about it, but Ms. Darnell and Mr. Gonzalez recommended that it be, whatever the wording be, we talked about it when we were, or after lunch today, solid color, no print or designs, because it was so, you're going to get into, I think the phrase was used as swimwear, you know, even in getting into some kind of print. Because I even said, well, what about a girl that has black pants with white stripes? Well, then that, if we just go solid color pants or solid color shorts, that's what they were asking.
So is it, I saw somebody's comment on here was like joggers.
Ms. Darnell said that there's a specific kind of pant called a jogger versus,
Versus, well, you know, the joggers.
Right, not,
When I first heard joggers, kids are like, no, those are sweatpants. That was always my thinking, but currently now, people wear pants that are gathered at the ankles, because they're made in new
Oh, right.
material and other material.
Like
Those are
fishing
all
pants.
joggers, too.
so like the fishing pants or the pants that are the other
Yeah.
material, that's hard to distinguish between.
Can I go back to shorts real quick? I
Yes.
think it's really important that for middle school, drawstring and above. Because we do have that problem. We haven't had it this much this year. But middle school being middle school, they'll come up, yank each other's pants down.
Just a punishment.
And then by making them use drawstring that have a button.
and you meant drawstring or a button, not drawstring
Yes.
and a button, right?
No, either or. As long as they stay up and somebody comes along and yanks their pants down.
I mean, if they're going to be stupid enough to read pants.
Put your thing
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry. You know, I don't like that. No, I don't know if we have to go that far as starting regular. I mean, if they're going to be silly enough to go de-pants somebody, then that's a punishment issue. I don't know if that mixes in with the, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think they have that now, don't
I
they?
mean, yeah, and if they still do it, I mean,
Yes.
it's really up to them.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I know that's not appropriate to say.
It probably just prevents some of it.
How much do you get into that don't have a drawstring or a button? You know, like all of mine, even my fishing pants have a drawstring. Because in there you get athletic shorts if it's just
So
elastic or not.
at the risk of my kid getting sent home every day for the next 5 days of school, I don't think he owns a pair of shorts that he wears to school that have a button or a drawstring. They look like they do and his shirt's untucked. But if they're like the Magellan or the Oakley or they're snug, like, I don't think they'd be easy to take off, but they don't.
Yeah, he's not wearing super.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
That's all I'm saying, but yeah.
And obviously grown-up pants, but the only place I shop is Academy, and all my shorts are Magilla, but they all have black. All pants have black, so these don't. They must not make grown boy pants like that.
He's in grown-up sizes.
Or the string gets ripped out in the wash, or, because I know TJ's, my son, sorry.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with it, except for when we say it extends to any school function, you know, because I don't know how you're going to show up at a football game to watch it, or a basketball, you know, it says, or on school property, so an elementary little girl can't wear slide sandals, or I think we should strike.
Well, let me put it this way, last year's couple of football games, there were a couple of girls that were wearing next to nothing tops. They weren't middle school, but they were middle school, I was gonna say something. But they were high school, so for me, it's kind of like, I don't know, somebody better set something, so I'm not even jumping in that water. If it's middle school, I'll deal with them, and I will say something. But they have short crop tops. The one little girl said, honey, you might want to put the jacket on, so that's like, supposed to get cold when you're gone, you're gonna get cold. And she goes, okay. And she just went off, got a little jacket, put it on, but again, that was a middle school kid. And then that's kind of, but then again, you know, tight in police staff, and somebody's cousin comes in, I'm not gonna know every high school kid, or elementary or intermediate. If somebody's cousin comes in, they're not dressed properly, you really can't say anything to them. So, you're right, tight in police.
And no matter what you do, the few are going to try to ruin it for the many. I mean, that's something you just have to enforce.
So to kind of piggyback on that, my main concern is the campus during the school. So that's my main concern. So along with the point being, if it's an event or something like that that's going on, I mean, to me, that's outside of the school time. So I'm not going to necessarily regulate how the kids are dressed at a football game or basketball game.
Well, I think there was something in here that said y'all could still use discernment for what you just said right there, you know? But I think that it is a stretch to say I can't wear athletic shorts or slides to a game. I don't think y'all would have any issue with them doing that if it.
And it's a difference being a spectator, I mean, you still need to have
I mean,
boundaries, but there's a difference between a spectator or going to an extracurricular representing the school. And
What were y'all thinking on the facial hair?
Clean shaven. So,
Because we had this discussion more, probably not so at middle school, but at high school. Because he was even venturing out to be lenient or like be more inclusive. And this probably started at the beginning of the year when they were going towards nicely groomed, or I don't remember what the words are. But what I was trying to talk to him and Coach Eads about, or Mr. Eads about, is when it comes to that, it's either got to be all or nothing. Because there's going to be kids like me that grows like, I mean, the worst looking cat with mange type beard when I'm in 9th grade, and then we've got some boys that don't shave for 3 days and they look like they came out of lumberjack school, you know, so it just depends. And I don't see how we can, it leaves too much in my opinion, and then I'll let Mr. Gonzalez address it too, it leaves too much for interpretation based on, I mean, it's hard to calibrate. We have difficult time trying to calibrate whenever we go into teachers' classrooms to see if we see the same type of, you know, instruction, and that takes weeks and weeks, and people work on that all the time, and so for them to try to spend time on how to calibrate on those types of things.
Is there any guidance? Sorry. Is there any
And I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying it needs to be it needs to be all or nothing.
Yeah, there isn't any legal guidance. It's just that you can't restrict facial hair if it's for religious or medical reasons. It just hasn't got to school districts yet.
They
because
can
for employers, everybody has a religious. If a kid really felt, if a kid's parent wanted them to have it, we'd have a religious accommodation, and that's just a belief held by somebody. It doesn't even have to be
They
a
have
legal.
the option to fill out a waiver or a request, and we've gone through that twice. Don't have to granted off the beginning, because some of them, I've had one at a different school that, you know, they said it was for religious reasons and they didn't want to shave. Well, then they had a mustache but shaved their whole face. And I'm like, I'm not getting all of this. Like, I'm not understanding. So, go.
We've had like a medical issue where they have skin irritation. We allow that as long as we have documentation of that. And we try to be pretty lenient with the kids when they come in. You know, we give them opportunities to take care of it at home. Because it's sort of personal for me. Because when I was in high school, AP grabbed me out of the hallway and made me shave. And my father had yet to teach me how to shave.
Yeah,
And so my father came up and gave the AP,
yeah.
you know.
We've heard that one.
But, so I try to instruct our APs to, if it's the first time or second time, to allow them to do it at home, to give them instruction, to get it done over the weekend, or get it done in the next couple of days. After that, if it's a repeater, we have them shave there on campus. But we do try to be as lenient as possible, be as flexible as possible, but in the end, as Dr. Brandon has said, it has to be one way or the other. You choose to shave.
Is, when it says no tattoos, are y'all meaning no visible tattoos? And what do we do if there's a transfer student who comes in with a tattoo because it was allowed somewhere else?
The tattoos are a very difficult subject. Like we have a young man that has tattoos all the way down his arms. And at least my approach to it is you're aware of what the rule is prior to when you get here. You got to have them covered. A lot of them get them, you know, during the school year. And I don't know why they do that. They understand what the rule is, but they're allowed to have them. They just must simply have them covered. But at least thanks be to God that we don't have a kid that I used to have that had an eagle from his neck all the way down.
When y'all say no hats or sweatshirts with hoods, I think y'all mean to clarify just they can't have the hood up, right?
So to save them, we created it, sent it out to them to comment, so they didn't write
Okay.
it. Just making sure. I'm not trying to sell you guys out.
Okay.
So we,
Yeah, this
we
is the
built-
final draft.
No, we built this in my office with a collection of many others that we were able to pull down across the state and with help from TASB. Then we sent it to the principals and said, tell us what you thought. So nobody out there really said, hey, we don't want hats. In fact, there's different opinions with that. Like, I mean, maybe it's easier to start this way. So let Ms. Darnell tell us your.
I used to not let them, but I've let them the last couple of years. They have not had a problem, so I don't have a problem with that. The hoodie, yes, because they'll put the ear pods in, so they can't see them. You got the phones on, if they're not allowed. And we then have one during testing on how to show school. And we have to be in the computer lab, and there's cameras in there. We were looking for something else, like, yeah, I think that kid put on earplugs during the test. And sure enough, that's what he did. He had earplugs on during the test, or nothing to do with the test. So there actually ended up being two that were, and they used the hoodie to disguise that.
So
And I
you
mean,
allow
if,
them to wear hats just when they're not in the inside?
As long as they're not inside, yeah, they want them to go inside.
And you also?
Same thing.
Same thing with sunglasses. If you want to wear them outside, wear outside. I don't have a problem as long as you get inside, take them off.
Intermediate same way, right? I mean, you don't.
Yeah, we actually encourage them to do something for recess and cover their head, pretty hot out there, so to protect them from the sun.
With the exception of the elementary, is everybody okay with like sandals that don't have a back?
We are not. We want, they have to have backs on their shoes.
The safety.
That's why, in my company, I had the word slides. I don't want somebody to, that's the word that is used. No slides.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, even in elementary, our biggest thing is we recommend everyone to wear tennis shoes. I personally have seen an incident where a little girl had sandals and she tripped and she hurt herself. And the biggest thing is our elementary kids go to PE every single day. So that's the big thing.
They also walk in a lot of lines and sit on the seat.
The teachers wear them in high school. Put your thing on and talk.
I'm trying to think of what I want to say. Is it easier to combine like middle school, high school, and intermediate and elementary, just at least just to have two, since it seems like the
Maybe-
most is.
Maybe 3 through 12. A lot of times that's how they kind of put together and pre-K through 2.
Because I mean, we do have a big jump there.
Because the little ones, like I say, when mine was 7, and she would wear her shorts to school, itty bitty, probably 5th grade is not. Gonna wear the same style of shorts as 2nd grader. 3rd grader maybe, 4th grader possibly.
What is that, you know, I mean, I guess my biggest thing is there's just a whole lot of words here, and parents do very minimal reading when it comes to this stuff, obviously. And I just want to make it easy to interpret. I think there's just some things that we can just make it a lot easier to look up instead of words and you're searching for it. You know,
Isn't there a chart also?
Yes.
Too, kind of that's at a glance, kind of dress code at a glance? Isn't that at the back of the?
Just something.
And
But it's in it, it's in
we
there.
do that currently with the dress code that we have. We have a, and it is a 3 through 12, and then we
Is it
have
3
a
through 12?
pre-K through 2.
I want to ask about the piercings. We allow a nose piercing now,
We don't have.
Only at high school.
only in high school. So the way this says it, if you're a first grader, one to
That's what I'm saying.
Or
Third grader, not first, we were separating those. Right.
That's what I'm just going back and forth here, and it just, it's a little bit.
And how many ear piercings do you allow? 3? Okay, so this is pretty much your current policy. Okay. I would be just like the comment said, no bars, no rings, none of that.
And the high school is just us, like they can't wear a hoop, right? Although as in every movement through every dress code that's ever existed in life, you had people already pushing your limits on that one towards the end of the year, right? You know, so it's part of the game. Part of the game.
No matter what we give them, they're gonna push it.
I mean, we gave them studs, and I've already had multiple rings. I've had to say, take the rings out. We have kids putting them underneath their lip, so they can wear bars or whatever underneath their, just,
Oh,
put it,
Okay, as the board knows, we don't vote on this at all. We give our input to you, so good luck.
If we were going to change it, when would we, whether we change it or we don't change it, I'd just like to have a deadline that parents would know in case they've got multiple kids and they're waiting to buy stuff for next year.
Yeah, I think they are trying to get something out
I mean,
this year.
if at the most, for like the last day of school, we are having it twisted out,
Email can I just email a couple of my little suggestions?
for sure.
Okay, that would make it a little lot easier.
Okay, anybody else?
And that's the reason that we started all of this in, I
Yeah.
don't know, November,
It's starting.
because
Ms. Darnell?
There was some comment on there made something about cheerleaders should get to wear their uniform on the day of the activity. That I do have a problem with. Again, middle school is totally different. But if that's the case, are we gonna let the volleyball team come in and just paint the top for the day of the event? I mean, if we're gonna let one team do it, that's kind of the way it was presented there, the volleyball cheerleading team. Then are we gonna let the volleyball team come dressed in their uniform?
Or cross
Or
country.
Because right now, for ours, they've always wanted to use it as a shirt, spirit shirt, which is fine, I don't have a problem with that. But there was a parent that wanted their kids to wear a cheerleading outfit. And again, it comes back down to, yes, until some kid makes some remark, and then it's no longer a dress code issue, it's a different issue that I have to deal with, that I'd rather not. So, for me, it's been on homecoming, you learn as long as you have on some kind of warm-up bottoms or something, other than just the bloomers. You wear your cheerleading outfit. So that was basically, I gave into that one day, because they only wear it every single time we had a game. But again, if I'm going to do that, then for me, it would be volleyball needs to wear theirs, basketball needs to wear theirs, and I'd rather not. So,
I saw saw that on here.
I'm sorry.
I saw that on here and I was trying to just look at it.
The last one I'll comment on was the leggings, the not allowing the product sales. There was some about shirts being this and shirts being that. It's just, that would dominate what kids would wear, and it would be very hard to regulate.
Wouldn't it be easier just to say it's today's dress code, but any colors and the shirt can have any design as long as it's not X? Like make it, instead of talking about here's all the things it is, here's the slight change from what we're doing now. So this year we opened it up to color. So now what if we just said any solid color short and any shirt as long as it doesn't have XX or X? Seems like that would be a whole lot easier for a parent to go, okay, now I get that, because I understood what it was this year and I get that.
Maybe having a comparison chart, just to maybe highlight updates.
Yes, like
On the chart
start with the
part.
base of what we have today with just a few little changes. Because this is going to get a whole lot of debate. Like it says, no chains. And I'm like, what, they can't wear a necklace?
Well, I think it meant more of wanting
Your
to hang
pocket.
up their-
Yeah. I just think, because I think it's just going to cause a lot of questions when parents are like, okay, I know what we got away with or didn't get away with. Just highlight for me how we're becoming more inclusive with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, just a little, it's just a little too much. Let's just say what is allowed.
Yeah, and I think that's easier to do in a month than,
Actually, I thought that that's what was wanted, was just open up the colors and not just,
Yeah.
have experience or four colors. I thought that's where this was going.
Yeah, that was actually my next
I
question.
say the same thing, but open up the colors.
Yeah, open up the colors and styles and make it basic and we can build from that.
yeah.
So we
Okay.
Can I email that to you?
make the rest of the list that easy for us.
Huh?
Make the rest of the list that easy for us.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was totally agree. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you, Julie.
Okay, I think we'll finish up with the dress code and then that with the admin. Take care of.
Or an addendum to any color except burnt orange.
Did y'all hear him?
That should be the primary. So
Any
we're gonna have
color
an
except for
addendum.
burnt orange.
I second that.
Or Hondo blue.
Okay, that was all under Dr. Brangine's reports and presentation. If you go through the rest of the director's reports for special programs, director's student services, director of special education, and the business reports. Does anybody have any questions on those reports right now? And then we move to our principal's reports. Questions on any of those? And then the director's reports. Okay, good. Now we move to the consent agenda, which includes just the minutes of the board meetings. Can I have a motion on that, please?
Madam President, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion by Carl and a second by Henry to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, we're moving to action items, and I'm going to move something up on the agenda. We're going to move item E to the first on the agenda. This item needs to be taken care of before some of the other items on the agenda can be taken care of. So this is to consider and take possible action to adopt a board resolution to join the TIPS purchasing co-op offered by Region 8. Shannon, are you going to speak on that?
Good evening. We were previously a member through TIPS via the Region 20 co-op. That's no longer the case. And so to become a part of TIPS, we're going to have to actually do our own interlocal with them directly with our district. This is going to help in our bond procedures and the safety grant procedures as they'll provide even more vendors with more procurement of some of the services that we're looking at.
President,
I move to adopt the board resolution to join TIPS purchasing cooperative offered by Region 8 ESC as presented.
Second.
Motion by Henry and a second by Carl to adopt the board resolution to join the TIPS purchasing co-op with Region 20. All in favor, raise your hand.
Region 8.
I mean to 8, excuse me. I said 20, didn't I? Region 8. Thank you. All right, that passes 6-0. Okay, now we can go back to our first item, which is now the second item on the action item. Consider and take possible action to approve the proposal from Dotson for the Head Start portable building. Mr. Van Fossen?
Good evening. Thanks for having me. First off, I have to apologize. I had probably 50 spreadsheets on my desk while I was working up these numbers. I didn't realize until late this afternoon when I was going over my presentation that for the budgetary consideration, it should only be $521,883, not the $619 that I'd put in. That's
Another number.
yeah. So, but literally I had like 5 different spreadsheets and I was carrying balances and trying to figure out where we were and what we were saving. So that new number that we're looking at is $521,885. That is a not to exceed number. I've gone back to Dotson and asked him to have different subcontractors that he works with look at different numbers. I feel their electrical number was a little bit too high based off some information that I've put together. But I didn't know what the total scope of work for his electrician was. So it turns out his electrician is going to be running feeders for other conduits for other subcontractors all the way back to the main MDF at the elementary campus. They're also going to be pulling the 6-strand fiber optics back out to the portable, to the IDF in that portable, things of that nature. But he is promising that he's going to go out and he's going to have a couple of his electricians give different numbers. So that's why I'm asking for a not to exceed number. This number is based on the 114 current value that his electrician said it would take to perform the job. He negotiated all the way down to $464,185.06, and I put it in the agenda. I feel there's items that were removed from there that I think are beneficial to the project. We were only going to have canopies on the east end of the building. Well, when they're waiting for pickup and drop off in the afternoons, I feel they also need to be on the west end of the building. Just some form of protection to be standing out there. Would we have to go with a asphalt pavement? There's other options out there. We did chip seal. We've doctored that chip seal a couple of times over the years. But I could take you out there right now, and there's where the drainage has run down through. It's cut a trench across there. So we have to constantly be putting something there so the cars aren't bottoming out when they're coming for drop off and pickup. So I just tried to put together a whole project. The original numbers from Dotson did not include the paving, did not include the canopies, did not include, there were just a bunch of things that weren't on that list. But I looked at it and why build half a project when they have an opportunity to end up with a $3 million structure at the end of the day, and it's going to cost us $521,000.
Another piece that he didn't mention is that the grade work and the asphalt and the parking lots are not just, hey, just so the building can operate. It's a big project that is going to improve the drainage and the facilities around the building. A lot of the issues that elementary currently has are going to be fixed through this process. So it's not just a put the building down and get ready to go. We're solving problems that we've had for a while. And like we mentioned before, when Head Start initially began this process, it's So they had a bucket of money that they were going to be able to provide to get the building going. So we thought, let's just say 800,000. We asked for more rooms to be added to this building, which we thought was going to be in the neighborhood of what, 200,000? Is that right? Okay. So their bucket of money somehow grew. I don't know how they do that, so I want them to teach us how to do that. But they were able to come up with a few more funds than what they initially thought. So $1 million worth. Okay. So then the 200 that we thought was committed to having to do this extra building really now is being able to be moved into this. We didn't gain any money, we didn't gain any traction, it's just in a different place. That helps.
Yes, sir. And we all remember the existing portable that was there. As Dr. Granzine alluded to, we're going to take all of that stormwater from upstream and we're going to completely go around this new portable. So we won't have those releveling issues that we had with the old portable and the deck, you know, all the structure out from underneath the deck, and then we'd have to go, you know, put blocks and stuff underneath to support that ramp to get us, you know, to the next day. So we're catching all of that drainage. We also have to put in a fire lane to the back just to meet fire code for 150-foot hose lay. Hopefully they don't look too much further into the campus, but we have issues on those other portables as far as that hose lake is concerned.
And barring a slab in building, Ms. Gutierrez and those ladies and those kiddos are gonna haven't been in it yet to see it, but it's gonna be nice.
It's very nice.
Proposed start date?
As soon as we can get a contract in place. Oh, absolutely.
Possible ending date?
The goal at this time is to get us in before school starts. And Dotson understands that I still have to take a team in there. We have to do a full clean top to bottom. We have to do a soft scrub on the floor. We have to put sealer down. We have to wax the floors. You know, so I need about 2 weeks in the building. So, and then we still have to move all the furniture from the existing portables to that structure. So, and the teachers are being phenomenal. They're already packing their stuff and getting ready in advance of the move. So that's going to help our team out tremendously.
Well, it would be wonderful if we did see it, but I'm sure everybody would understand for a couple of weeks late getting into it. Okay, does anybody have any other questions?
Don't pack it all up. Don't pack it all up then. No.
It's a wonderful building.
Okay, so we need a motion and that amount changes to $521,885?
Yes, ma'am. 06. Don't forget those 6. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.
And just a side note, I will have the budget amendment to that project at the next meeting. Budget workshop, number 3. We had originally set it, I believe, for June 6th, and we are asking if June 10th would work for y'all to reschedule that. I think Dr. Granzine will be out of town at a workshop, a conference that on June 6th. June on the 6th or the 10th? Okay. The 10th, I believe, is a Tuesday? Monday.
I'm sorry, say all that again. Y'all are talking, nobody's hearing. So we're setting the 10th?
Monday the 10th.
Thank you.
Okay, is that a good day? for
What time?
I won't be there.
It doesn't work for Carl.
6:30. Doesn't.
6:30, okay.
It's fine. 6 is, you meant 6.
There's no other day, because Carl can't make that one.
It gets busy.
Are you available that week or?
We have to do next day, week 11.
You guys have SLI starting on 13th.
We do have SLI starting on Thursday or Friday, whichever day you're going to go that same week. And if you don't mind having a meeting on Tuesday before it, it's just
Tuesday's
about the
fine
same
with
on
me.
Monday before it for me.
Tuesday's fine.
Tuesday's fine with me. Tuesday good with me?
So it's the 11th, okay? Tuesday, 11th. Okay. Everybody else is here?
She said I'm
Is that good for you, Shannon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
At 6:30?
That's okay, yeah.
6:30? I'm just putting it on my calendar.
Okay. Well, we have a motion, we have a motion. Passed it,
But I'm
yeah.
putting it on my calendar, so.
Okay, can I have a motion then?
I'll move to set the for budget workshop number 3 on June 10th at 6:30 as presented.
June 11th.
June 11th as presented.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday, June 11th at 6:30.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion by Renee and a second by Ally to set the date of Tuesday, June the 11th, 6:30 for our budget workshop number 3. All in favor, raise your right hand, please. Okay, thank you, that's exciting. Okay, consider take possible action to set the date for the public hearing to adopt the budget.
And then 6 days later, after that, on Monday, the 17th, at the regular board meeting in June, we'd like to set that for budget adoption.
And that would be a few minutes before it or during it?
So it'll be at the beginning of it.
Yeah, just at the beginning. Okay. So it'd be 6:30. That's the regular time. Is everybody okay with that, this regular board meeting? Okay, so can I have a motion on that?
Madam President, to set June 17, 2024 for public hearing to adopt the budget as presented.
Second.
I think I heard Carl. A motion by Henry and a second by Carl to set the date of June 17th for the public hearing on the budget. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Consider and take possible action to renew the FSMC contract with Taylor.
This will be our second renewal with them, our third year total since the rebid. And remember, these are the prices we pay to them, not the prices our kiddos pay to us. And so for a fixed price rates for breakfast this year, it's going to go from $2.11 to $2.21. And for lunch, it'll go from $3.19 to $3.35. Again, hoping for just a break even, not to make money off of it, off the kiddos, but just to break even and feed them well.
Anybody have any questions about that? Start a little rise in the price. Okay, can I have a motion then?
Madam President, I move to renew the FSMC contract with Taylor Inc.
Second.
Okay, that's a motion by Carl and a second by Henry to renew the FSMC contract with Taylor. All in favor, raise your right hand, please. Okay, 6-0. And we took care of E. Okay, now we move to the consider and take possible action to adopt the 2024-25 stipend schedule. Shannon provided you with a lot of information on that stipend schedule. You could see how many people were getting more than one stipend, and the total amount, it came down to $64,000.
Can I make a recommendation? Can I make a recommendation? Based on some of the things that we talked about at the last meeting and everything that we've been trying to go through with adjusting budget, and bringing it down even further for you guys. You know, our deficit right now is 800,000?
940.
940. 580 of that is the amount of money that we attributed to the new salaries. Not going to be popular in this recommendation to you guys, but I would recommend that we make no changes to the stipend schedule other than the addition of the athletic position for strength and conditioning, the CTE coordinator stipend, which will be paid out of federal funds at $5,000, and the change to the cheer situation that the person is doing the job that was 2 stipends for 2 people.
Cheer at the high school?
Yes. So that's food for thought. That would be my recommendation right now. Another part of that being, I watched news commentaries yesterday about the changes that the governor is proposing. You know, we're going to start in November. They still have $6 billion set aside. No guarantee that they're going to do anything for us, but he's very confident that the school savings account voucher situation is going to pass. He did mention in an interview that he did for the Houston Chronicle that they hope or they attempt to do something with our basic allotment. That would help us out. Not saying that every single one of these jobs is important and everything that everybody does related to those stipends are important, but with that much uncertainty and potentially information that we're going to get with a little bit more revenue will help us understand, because the changes that we made with the salaries, that $580,000 addition to our deficit, we're going to face that every single year. We're going to gain revenue. It's safe to make that prediction, but it could be anywhere from 100,000, 150,000 to maybe 300,000. You know, and if we get that type of change or that type of influx to revenue, then we can make those type of decisions. Like I said, not to discount anybody or their importance or the jobs, but
Todd, I appreciate you making a recommendation.
okay.
I think that's your role, is your over personnel, is to be able to tell us that, what your recommendation is, and I think we should support your recommendation. I mean, like we talked about last time, we want to do as much as we can for teachers and administration, but stipends and salary, it's all coming from the same place, and we spent every penny we could on increasing those salaries. So
And
I
at
don't
no
know how
point
to
are
make
we
that.
ever going to be able to
that-
pay people what they're worth.
Right, right. We'd love to
Bring
do.
it to your proposal, what would deficit be? The 580 plus what?
That's not even in the budget. This change of stipends is not even in the current budget,
Right.
correct?
But it's just the 3 positions,
Right.
right?
Oh,
You know, more, yeah,
These.
more or less, what would it be?
3 positions. are-
$8,000.
So how do we make a motion like that? I can attempt. You can tell me if it's good
We need
enough.
to adopt the stipend schedule that we had last year with those changes.
The current
Okay.
stipend schedule
All right.
with the population.
Then I want to make a motion to adopt the current stipend schedule with the only changes being the addition of a stipend for an athletic position to oversee strength and conditioning, the stipend for the CTE coordinator, and the increase to the high school cheer sponsor stipend, with the caveat, because that's cheaper than what we were paying for 2 separate sponsors, but if we go back at some point to 2 separate sponsors, that we immediately revisit that stipend.
And to clarify the athletic position, we're not just creating a coach position. This is a position that during the spring, based on people leaving and going to different places, we don't have coverage for the kiddos in off-season. And so then we've never had unsupervised kids, I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
we're trying to avoid a scenario where that needs to be.
Okay, you heard Renee's motion, I'm trying to repeat it. She did good. May I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Renee and second by Henry. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. And thank you for your recommendation. All right, I think we finished the regular business. Okay, Okay, the Board of Trustees began at 7:42. Will convene in closed session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act for the purpose of discussing items listed in the Texas Government Code, Section 551.072, 551.074, and 551.082. No final actions, decisions, or votes will be taken while the board is in executive session. Thank you. Appreciate all of your attendance tonight. You may stay if you want, but you may be in there a while.